On this special series of Grassroots Garage, the Datsun Heaven saga continues. We catch up with some new mates and some old mates as we hit the road on another little adventure to Melbourne, Queensland and Sydney to check out some pretty iconic Datsuns. So once again, come on the journey with us as we continue bringing Datsun passion from all over the world. Massive thanks to all the sponsors that support the GRG project. We are Grassroots Garage and this is a Datsun Heaven series. On this episode of Grassroots Garage Datsun Heaven Australia, we catch up with Firas and his monster FJ powered 610 coupe, Bad610. We first met Firas about 3 years ago down at Roll Racing Sydney. It's absolutely epic that we get to catch back up with him and go into a bit more detail of this extremely well built car with a lot of modern technology on board.
G'day everyone, I'm Firas and this is my 1974 Datsun 610 Triple S Coupe. Car history, bought the car back in 2007. After looking around trying to figure out what car to buy, we looked at 1600s. We sort of thought, there was too many around. We looked at 200B Triple S's. Then we sort of decided to go with something a bit different that no one's done before, which is 180B. I actually didn't like 180Bs at the start. I sort of despised them because my uncle used to have one, I used to hate it. But in hindsight now, with all the modifications on the car and the way it looks, I couldn't be happier. It's skimpy gold. It's got all the Japanese domestic parts, rear lights, front lip, bobtail wing. It's got Datsun suspension all round, R32 GTR brakes at the front, R31 brakes at the rear. Engine wise, we have an FJ20 built to a 2.2 stroker, full stroker, 90.5mm bores, sleeve block, half grout filled fire ring, copper head gasket. On the head side we have Mark Ashford cams, oversized valves, ported head, adjustable cam gears. Runs a GDX 3584 turbo, dry sump setup, Barnes 3-stage pump, plasma man inlet, drive-by-wire. That sits behind a Western Clutches single plate clutch, surprisingly it holds, RB25 PPG gearbox with a stillway lockout shifter and a load cell to have flat shifts, I guess. Then we've got an R200 long nose for 11 ratios with a short nose LSD into it with the bigger axles, 32 spline axles. We've got Terry Bosenjack custom CV shafts. These run on 15-inch B45s with Hero radiant tires at the back.
How much horsepower is it putting out?
Right now, it's got 717 at the wheels without NOS.
We want to make a quick break to shout out our amazing sponsors of the GRG project, Birong Automotive.
Another day at Birong, eh?
Whether you want power and fuel efficiency out of your work ute or you're upgrading your pride and joy to their bulletproof Street Fighter packages, Birong Automotive will do it right. Sydney Prestige Metal Roofing. All metal roofing work in the Greater Sydney area. Repairs, re-roofs, pergolas, commercial and industrial. Jeff and the team are hardworking and precise. They'll take care of your project on time and on budget. And NetCorp GPS, a one-stop shop for supply, installation and 24-hour monitoring of fleet vehicles through real-time GPS tracking, driver behaviour monitoring and dash cams.
NetCorp specialise in fleet, but they can do 24-hour vehicle tracking for your car, just for that bit of peace of mind. The team at NetCorp are part of our community and they will work with you. Contact them, tell them we sent you and they'll look after you.
Before I blew up a couple of years ago, so we did have 715 at 42 pounds. With NOS, we're about 815. But this time around, we've managed to get 717 at 35 pounds without NOS. Yeah, so it's a bit more efficient build this time.
Yeah, nice. Quarter mile? Have you...
Quarter mile, we haven't run it yet with this power. The best time we run was 10.1 back in 2016 when it had about 500 horsepower. That was behind a standard gearbox, so your shifts were limited, but I think it should do a lot better now. We've booked into roll racing for the rear-wheel drive event on May 23rd, so do a couple of tests there, see how we go, and then might take it down to the drags and see how we go.
Yeah, nice. And that's all with still an independent rear end.
Yeah, it's got an independent rear end. It's got the adjustable Datsun rear end, but it works very well. Look, the car runs. I've got a Nexus R5 and it runs 1 million sensors, so we measure everything. We've got a whole weather station in the guard. I've got brake line pressure sensors for front and rear. I can adjust it in the car. Every pressure sensor that you can imagine, from air, boost, air temperature, coolant pressure, all pressure, all the way to diff temperature, gearbox temperature. So we measure everything on this car, which is really good, and it's got 1 million safeties, and they all work quite harmoniously together, which is really good. There's no nuisance tripping of any sensors, but it's good because it ensures the car will stay safe and it will cut out if there's any issues.
What got you into Datsuns?
That's a good question. So my Celica, after it blew up so many times with a rotary, I swapped it for a 1200 Ute. And this was like a two-tone green and grey 1200 Ute. And I just felt, it just such a light car. It did a U-turn in a lane and a half. And, ever since I just loved Datsuns. And even the car after that, which was a race car with a 1200 Ute as well, which I built originally this engine for. And ever since, you look at all the cars, Datsuns, I feel, had a lot more technology at their time. So they had the RS before anyone else, I think, in regards to the Japanese cars. And, they have a lot of race pedigree. So that's what I love about Datsuns.
Nice. What was your first car, mate?
My first car was a Toyota Celica TA22 with a 13B J-port. This was I used to have a lot of friends that had rotors at the time, so that was the thing. Back in the day, it was a cheap thrill. Looking through the trading post, trying to, look for a standard Celica. Going through the page, we see a Mazda Power Toyota Celica, and my friends jumped up and down and said, "Nah, we've got to look at this thing." So they dragged me along, went out to see it, and the moment I saw this car, it was unbelievable. Fell in love with it, negotiated a price and bought it. Didn't even know how to drive manual, had a friend drive it home. Sat there for about 2 weeks before I decided to pull my finger out and get in and learn. And from there, I've just been into cars ever since. Well, thanks everyone, appreciate you checking out my car. Hope you enjoy it.
That wraps up this episode of GRG. Special shout out to Joyce for being an awesome camera car driver. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for the next one.